Hi all, this is Emma from Plan, Inspire, Create, and today I am going to be showing you how I set up my new big calendar system. So if you watch my videos, you might have heard me saying recently that I have missed events when I've been planning. So I've missed them out, and then when those events come round and I realise, oh no, I've actually got to do this other thing, then I come across problems because I've overcommitted myself. And this is a problem, especially when I'm running a planner channel. So I knew that my current system wasn't working, there was clearly a gap in it, and I wanted to address that and try and do something different. So I currently do all of my forward planning on my Google Calendar, and I have different calendars for different things. So a personal one, I have one for Plan, Inspire, Create, and I have one for the Autosphere, which is a blog and podcast I run on autism. And then I can see them all on my phone all together, and I can then kind of get an overall big picture look at how things are. But it's not a very big picture, it's a very small picture when it's on your phone. And therefore I sometimes miss some of the all day events that are just like tiny at the top and not actually blocked out in time on like the main day, and that's what's happened a couple of times. Also, when that calendar's not open, it's very much out of sight, out of mind, and I wanted something that was going to be much more in my face. Cue the big calendars. So I was inspired by a couple of YouTube videos I saw, which I'll link down below, by Hope Taylor and one by Stephanie Case, and they had these huge wall calendars on the wall. Now theirs was set out a little different with space for goals and different things like that. I wanted mine to be simply just a big calendar, and I wanted it to be a rolling calendar system, and I'll show you how I've set it up. The first thing I did was I designed in InDesign these long, thin, big calendars. Now I actually had the frame first that I wanted to put this in. I'd ordered it for something in my new home, and when it came I thought, that is so big, it's ridiculous, it's bigger than I thought it would be. And then when I had this idea, I thought, that's brilliant, I could get a couple more of these frames, I could put them side by side, and these could be the perfect size for my wall calendars. So I measured the frame and I made a custom design in InDesign, and I obviously used my brand colours so that they would look nice in my office, well, more muted versions. And I also made sure that the size of the individual boxes for the days fit post-it notes, little tiny post-it notes, so that I could pull things on and off. So once I'd done that, I sent them off to a printer that did custom size poster prints, and it's just on paper. I think it's 170 GSM, but I'll leave all the details down below. And the company's called Pixel to Print. They were really reasonably priced. They came quite quickly and they were rolled up in one of those little cardboard tubes. So I unrolled them and put them in the picture frames. They fitted perfectly with the measurements that I'd given to the company that I wanted them, and I was really, really impressed with the print quality. So the next step was I had a big space on the wall in my office, and I put them up on the wall. I originally just did 2 calendars, and then I realised that I wanted at least 6 months ahead planned kind of up in my face at all times on the wall. And the problem with that is, as I was going to get to the end of the first one, I would only have 3 months left before I'd finish this one and could replace it, if that makes sense. So what I did was I ordered a third one. So I've got 9 months up at a time. And then when I get to the end of the first one on the wall, I will unvelcro them and move the 2 across, and then replace the third one and stick it on the wall. So I can easily keep kind of moving them along, replacing the one at the end, and I've always got kind of 3 to 6 months of current forward planning up on my wall. I could have done a year up there, I had the space, however, I kind of feel that too far ahead, it's hard to predict what's going to happen. That's why I quite like quarterly goal setting in general. But the idea with this is that I plan to either use post-it notes and washi tape, or a wet erase marker on the frame that I can then wet with a cloth and rub away. And so if I need to change things further down the line, I can, but it just means that I get this big picture overview of what I've committed to. With the calendars up on the wall, it's time to actually start filling them in. Now, I had it printed in May. Did I get round to starting it until June? No. So I'm going to leave May blank. However, when I get to the end of 3 months, I'm going to be now forward planning much, much more in advance. But the first thing I did was go through my Google Calendar and look for any personal events that I had in my calendar. So things like holidays, important people's birthdays that I might want to take a day off work for, or perhaps like sometime surrounding there, maybe I'll need a day off at some point. Things like national holidays, stuff like that, that I knew I wasn't going to be available to work, they need to go on first. And a big reason why I wanted to put this first is my word of the year this year is balance. I am trying to restructure my business in a way where it's providing more balance to my life, and so I want to make sure that I'm also prioritising that time with family and friends, so I made sure that that goes up first and foremost. I plan on colour coding the boards, and I plan on changing my colour coding in my Google Calendar to match so that it's all cohesive and it's easier for me to see what's what. I am quite a visual person, and so we're going to have to go with the colours of the post-it notes that I could get and not vice versa. So I managed to get pink, blue and yellow. They are the 38 by 51mm post-it notes, so the smaller little rectangle size ones. I will use the green ones for something, but they may not go up on my board. But I will be using the pink, blue and yellow. They're quite vibrant colours. It stands out. So pink is going to be my personal colour, and I have a pink skinny washi tape that I can use for that. So obviously they're not exactly the same colours, but I have pinks to use for personal. So the next category I want to put up on the board is shop related events, and for that I'm going to be using the blue. So I have a blue post-its and blue washi. They're not exactly the same colour. I need to invest in some more skinny washi tapes, to be honest. I find these really skinny ones quite hard to find, so if anyone has any recommendations, please leave them in the comments below, because I find skinny washi tapes really functional but also quite difficult to get a hold of. The reason that I put shop related events as my next priority is because I want to be prioritising doing more product launches on a regular basis. And the reason I haven't been doing that is because I put everything else in my calendar first, and then I realise you haven't left yourself any time to actually design new products. So I want to put in things like my group sales that I'll be taking part in for the year, or any individual sales. Obviously any group sales that haven't been announced will be, I won't be putting the names up there, so don't be looking out for any sneak peeks on the wall in the back of my videos. They'll be announced over on my Instagram. And also any product launches. I like releasing products in the last weekend of the month. It's payday for people. I love shopping for new things then. Well, it's payday for a lot of people. I like shopping for new things then. And yeah, but doing it every 4 weeks is maybe achievable, maybe not, we'll see. But I want to be blocking out when I have product launches planned, and then how much time I need to block out in the days before or the month before, etc., to get that done. So how much time do I need for coming up with ideas, doing the designs, testing the products, manufacturing times if it's things that are manufactured. How much time do I need to leave for photos, listing them on Etsy, listing them on the website, actually planning the launch, creating social media content, launching the thing, packing the orders. There's a lot that goes into it, and I haven't been able to dedicate enough time to it as I would like to. So that's why it's my priority number 2. And then my priority number 3 is content. And because it's priority number 3 does not mean it's any less important. I'd say within my yellow category, there are also tiers. So Patreon is kind of like at the top of that list. I love creating content for my patrons. So every month there is a podcast. There's a behind the scenes vlog, there's a video chat, there's a live stream, there are digital wallpapers, digital downloads, there are behind the scenes updates, There are secret projects going on. Every other month there's a physical goodie box, so that needs blocking out as well. That takes a good amount of time to design the products that go in those goodie boxes because they're exclusive. They only go out to my patrons. They don't go in my regular shop, so it's all new products every time. Obviously testing the products, manufacturing, putting the boxes together, the same again as like product launches. So all of that needs to be on my board so that my Patreons get their exclusive rewards every single month. Then I also have these YouTube videos for you and also kind of social media, content creation, fun stuff like that. So I'm gonna try and batch some of that together and block out time for it on my big calendar. So I've gone ahead and kind of populated the calendar with the washies, with the post-its, and this is what it's looking like so far. So this is the kind of big picture view, how it looks from a distance, and let's take you over and I'll show you how things have worked. The only thing I will say is my blue washi tape doesn't really stand out, so I will be looking for another one because I can't see it as well from a distance. Like I said, I blocked out my personal events with the pink washi tape, and I've used the wet erase marker to write on what these are. So for example, I've got a trip away here. I've got a day full of appointments there, so I'll just take that off. Christmas break, etc. Then I can see straight away where there's big chunks of time that I won't be able to work. Then I have added in some work events that I know I definitely have in the blue. So for example, product launches, I've put as a kind of standard event on the last Friday of every month. I've got just 90 dates on here, dates for possible courses that I'm thinking of running. Got an online planner event over here that I'm attending. There will be more going on there, a lot more. I just need to sit down and plan out dates. And that's another reason that this has been really useful for me, is that it's allowed me to kind of do that big picture thinking of what projects do I want to do right now. Is there space on here for me to do them? Where could they go? How should I space them out throughout the year? So I've now got a starting point of gaps. I've got a little post-it here, I'm not going to show you what's on it, with some projects that I also want to add on. And I am going to go and have a look at how long they might take me, and then I'm going to come back and plot them on the board. So it allows me to think about whether I've got the time to do those projects, and if I have, whilst I might want to do them all now, realistically, how best would it work to space them out throughout the year? Yellow currently just houses my Patreon content, so I've got these little round yellow stickers and I've put them in the bottom corners, and I've written on them either an initial or the word of what it is. So when I think my Patreon boxes will be going out, we've got video call, digital download, vlog, discount codes, wallpapers. Then I have, live stream. Then I've copied it down for the next month. I'm thinking of making some changes to how I run my Patreon and my rewards, so I haven't forward planned for the rest of the 6 months for that. But again, that's prompted that I need to do it, and I need to do it soon so that I know where I am with things. But what I have done is I've gone in and every other month I've put the date that I plan to ship my goodie boxes. Now obviously as I move forward, more personal events will be added in, etc. But I've got the key ones up there, ones that are kind of really non-negotiable. And I've even put things on there that I don't know are definitely happening. Like I've blocked out my mum's birthday weekend, I've blocked out my anniversary weekend, things like that, just because it's a probability, and therefore I need to think about that in the days before. Now I've recently started using Asana for project management, and I'm going to do a video on this when I have it up and running, and I really see these two as working together. I spent a lot of time kind of looking at the overall plan and really thinking about spacing things out and what I wanted throughout the year to happen. So I have some potential sales blocked out on the board at that line up with big holidays, for example, where I'm likely to be running a sale. I don't want too many sales throughout the year because they just become a bit meaningless. I want it to be a kind of special event. So I've thought about spacing them out. But something I really enjoyed was standing back and looking at this big picture coming together and thinking, what do I want on here? What do I want for my business? And it kind of prompted that time to spend on this and spend kind of thinking, planning, setting goals, all that stuff. So I'm really glad I have this now. What I plan to do now is go and sit down in Asana, which, if you haven't used it, it's a project management tool. I'm just getting to know it. It's digital, it's on the computer. You can get an app on your phone and things as well. I was using Notion, but I just didn't find it all that user-friendly. So I am swapping over to Asana. So what I plan to do now is, with this in mind, I will be bringing my laptop or my iPad over where I can see the board, and I will then be using my time tracking that I've been doing to look at realistically how long things are taking me, and I will be blocking out the time needed for these things in Asana, bearing in mind what else is on the board. So for example, I have a product launch here. There. I have a product launch here. So I went through all the tasks involved in that earlier in the video as an example. So now I'll be looking back at my time tracking, and I will be actually working back and plotting in all those tasks and blocking it out as chunks of time in my calendar. Right, I need to work on this. So my calendar, obviously I can move those time blocks around, but I can't get rid of them and they all have to fit in. So one thing that I'm going to be looking for is, does everything on this board actually fit in my calendar alongside my regular work tasks like checking emails, processing shop orders, restocking products, all those things. They're all going to be going in Asana. And does all of this fit? Does it work? And then I will have a much more concrete plan to work from. I will know where I am. I won't feel like I'm panicking for time, but equally I'll know where I need to keep up momentum. I will have a much more solid plan to work from. There will be much more of a kind of planned strategy around what I'm doing, and my time will be focused on the things that matter to me most in my business and that I think are going to bring the most growth, I suppose. So that's where I am. That's the big calendar system. Part one. What I may do for part two is come back in with the pen. So I'm just going to keep the main events in the blue. Originally, I was also going to block out like time working on these things. I want to see at a glance where the main deadlines are. I feel like a teacher now. So that's my plan. But what I will probably do is come back in with the pen and write in when I'm going to be working on these things and block out that time. Then if I want to come back to the board and I think, right, I've been asked to speak at something, for example, where can it go on the board? Can it go anywhere on the board without removing these commitments, and which am I going to prioritize? So it then becomes a much more useful project management tool for me and a forward planning tool for me. I won't be coming to my calendar and thinking, yeah, I've got nothing on that day. Because I will have also blocked out the time it's going to take to get to these deadlines, not just the deadline itself. And I think that's going to be the big difference for me. So I hope this was useful. I hope it was interesting to see how I'm trying to think about things in a different way. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe to my channel. And if you want extra exclusive videos, as well as a whole bunch of other bonuses, live streams, podcasts, loads and loads of good content, then check out my Patreon. I will leave a link in the description below. And I will see you very soon for another video.